might be wondering where you can find that first coaching client that will actually pay you, and I want to say this up front, it's going to take some work, but I'm shortcutting your success by being real with you on what I've refined with my street smarts, if you will, over the last 12 years with my own businesses, as well as with over 3,000 people that I've done this as well with. In fact, there's 3 things you need to do if you want to get your first paying coaching clients. And the cool thing is you can implement these 3 things without needing any followers, without experience, without even needing a website. This is not some watered down mainstream advice by some YouTuber who's barely making any money themselves. I've actually built 2 multiple 7-figure coaching and consulting businesses myself. And when you implement these 3 things, you will be on your way to getting your first paying coaching client right after this video. Plus, quick bonus tip, the stuff you're learning in this video can get you to your first 10K a month, 20K a month, even up to 30K a month, like Brian, for example, or Dimitri, and Aiste. Now, for the first step, take some notes. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. Famous quote by Bruce Lee. And in my experience from working with over 3,000 coaches, consultants, and service providers, I can tell you that easily over 90% of people fail in the first 3 months because they haven't defined their niche and their audience properly. Stay with me for a second because there's some nuance to it. So underneath that Bruce Lee quote, I also want you to write down, who can I help achieve what end result? And careful, because this is not just about, find your niche, but actually this is about niching down and adding a unique twist to what you're doing. This is really important because you're not going to be the first coach in your niche, unlikely, right? Now, generally speaking, that's actually a good thing because competition in your niche just means that there's already people making money and there's already an audience willing to pay you, but finding a way to still stand out a bit doesn't hurt. Now, here's how we usually do it with the people that we've been working with. There's 3 methods that you can use to stand out and be unique. Number 1 is your method. So instead of just being a fitness coach, you can, for example, say, well, my method is based on eating 6 times a week properly, and then 1 time a week you eat pizza. I call it the pizza diet. Or people we've worked with so far, we've had a specific vegan nutrition as a method to get people to the end result. Or let's say, for example, you're a programmer and instead of just offering the same programming boot camp coaching like everybody else does, you have the natural intuitive method that makes you very unique. That's one way of standing out from the crowd. And another way is actually by leveraging your unique, quirky personality like this guy here. This helps especially with the kind of content that you're posting, and I'll be super transparent with you. Like, why is there, for example, a Gran Turismo Fanatec DD Pro steering wheel in the background? I positioned this because part of my unique quirky personality is that I'm also a gamer. So when you're able to stand out from the crowd by being yourself, that's also very good. The third way of standing out is actually you targeting a specific sub-segment of your market. For example, instead of just being a dating coach for men, you're a dating coach for recently divorced men because they have specific needs and specific goals that differ from everybody else. So the last thing you need to write down in your little notes here is asking yourself the question, how can I make this unique? So I niched down, I added a unique twist, now I gotta start posting like everywhere, right? I recently got a DM by a fella named Chris, and he was running a podcast, a YouTube channel, even a school community, and an Instagram account, yet he barely got any clients. As opposed to, on the other hand, people like the Anson brothers, they cracked 50K in a single month with dating coaches, even though they're only on a singular platform, which is Instagram. But Max, hold on a second. All my favorite coaches are on all the platforms. I see them on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram. Even you, Max, you're posting everywhere. Yes, but don't copy what someone that is 10 years ahead of you does now. Copy what they did 10 years ago, because that's what they built their foundations on. You need to start in the simplest and most direct way possible, and the simplest way to get your first coaching clients is by following the rule of 1. And no, this is not a Star Wars reference. It simply means you only need to post on one platform to get your first clients and make up to your first $30,000 to even $100,000 a month. Now, in case you're wondering what platform to post on, it depends on what fits the best to you and to your niche. So for example, on Instagram, it's less about the writing skills, it's more about community building and video skills. If you're in a B2C niche, Instagram is probably going to be better than if you're in a B2B niche. And the amount of posts that I recommend you to post per week is around 4 to 7. Same goes for TikTok, it's very similar, but then on LinkedIn, for example, it's much more about you having writing skills as opposed to video skills, and it's definitely more helpful if you're in the B2B niche there, and you also have to post less. Now, I'm just gonna leave this up on the screen. You can pause it if you want. We're not gonna go too much into detail here, but that is how you pick a platform that fits best to you. Now, I'll show you what to actually post to have clients eventually come to you in a second here, but before that, we need to actually optimize your profile. So what you need to have is, number one, a profile picture where people can actually see what you look like. You should look professional and friendly. Don't have a photo where people can't see your face. Please don't have one of these NFT bored ape monkey bullshit on there. Like, that's a sure way of telling someone you're 15 years old and have absolutely no intention of actually giving value. Make sure you don't have a full body pic or anything like that. Usually chest up, friendly face, smiling into the camera. The other thing you want to have in your profile is explaining people what you do and who you're helping. We call this a unique selling point, or short form USP. For example, I help recently divorced men find the dream partner again or get back on the dating market. I help young mothers fit back into their favorite pair of jeans, and so on and so forth. We're going to show a couple examples here on the screen as well. You can pause if you want to. On top of that, you want to make use of a banner. Most platforms have a banner where you can write again what it is that you're doing. You can have another photo of you, ideally something that gives you an authority, or at the very least makes you look professional. Don't use the typical landscape photo banner that most people are using. Make sure you take advantage of that real estate that is on there. Now, remember, the goal is to get our first paying coaching clients, but ultimately you want to get to a point where the clients end up coming to you. So here's how I made that work at first. When I first started posting on social media, I was simply just educating people, meaning I was trying to give value and, giving them how-to instructions, and then I would just promote my stuff hoping that someone would bite. And then later on, I actually started talking about myself as well and kind of just documenting what I'm doing instead of promoting or educating people. And what happened is people actually started resonating with me much more. I really realized it's like people don't just want the how-to instructions, but they want a person that they can resonate with. And then later on, the last kind of category that I added was entertaining posts, where I literally just said, hey, I want to post something funny that is relating to my niche that makes people laugh. And what actually came out is the combination of these really works the best. So the way I achieve that clients come to me is by posting content that warms people up, that entertains them, that educates them, and that promotes my offer. I call this the HEAP formula. Here's some examples. I'm going to show them on my screen. This is what we call a hero story. It stands for the H in HEAP. That means I'm talking about parts of my journey, and the point of that is to warm people up to me as a person. Now, this is a real story. Like, don't make the stories up like it all started in 1987. No, of course, talk about your actual story, but make sure that you package it in a way so people can relate to you. So this is 2015, burnt out, little money, broke down in my dad's arms crying. 2016, automated business online, made my first $1 million yearly father-son trips with my dad, and there's a cool photo of me being all sad, and then later on with my dad and I playing golf off a mountaintop in Austria. Again, you can pause here if you want to read the entire post. You can tell this is about me, but it's also relatable to my audience. This, on the other hand, is a so-called educational post. This is probably the post you recognize the most. This is literally just where I'm talking about my expertise. Hey, do this, and here's why it works so well. Also there, I have a cool photo that gives me a little bit of an authority. One of the public speaking events, I think last year or something like that. And this is very straightforward. This is literally just where I give tips or value. On top of that, though, you have the entertaining posts. And this is literally just something funny that actually fits to my audience. I chose an Instagram reel here because I want to show you video-based content as well. It's very simple. Client, I have to sleep over it before buying your coaching, and me is just with whom. And that's it. So every coach that is already in my audience, including you hopefully, they're gonna see this and they're like, ah, this is funny, this is a situation I can relate to, it happens to me quite a lot, the response is very funny. It's entertaining you. And then last but not least, we have a promotional post, which is where I literally say, hey, this is what we do, this is what I can help you with, here's some proof. If you want to work with me, DM me. We're not going to show the whole thing, but we're going to cut through it. It's pretty straightforward there as well. I'm very big on transparency, so I want to show you what's actually possible if you start online coaching, consulting, or service providing the right way. We have this little WhatsApp wins group here where my staff and I are just sharing client wins all the time. So starting last Friday, we got Basilis here closing 2K. We got Daniel here closing 3.3K, and also we got John here with closing $68,000 in a single month. If you want to know more on how exactly that works, simply DM me the word coaching and I'll send you all the details on how you can get such results as well without website, without needing a big brand, without needing any prior experience. So I'll talk to you in the chat. Now that covers what to post, but how do I get the first couple eyeballs onto my posts even if I don't have any followers? Most importantly, how can I monetize them even when I'm just getting started? That's where the beauty of the flywheel hybrid method comes in. I'm not gonna go into super great detail here, but it's basically a flywheel that starts spinning faster and faster as long as you do the right things. So it's all about you having conversations with the people that you could potentially help. This could start in your personal network. Maybe you're DMing a couple people and getting free test clients that you're just giving tips for free, but you're getting to know them more in regards to what their goals are, what their frustrations are, what they're looking for, what kind of tips they need. And that then leads to post ideas where you're basically saying, hey, I get a lot of questions about XYZ, let me make a post about that. And then it either fires, meaning it gets great engagement and it gets you a lot of leads, meaning people that are interested in what you do, or it doesn't fire. Even if it doesn't fire, nothing is lost because now you've gained target audience understanding again of what doesn't work, which leads to another improved idea, a second version of that post, and so on and so forth, until eventually it will get you leads, people that are interested in what you do, and that gets you more conversations, which means you get more understanding, more posts, and so on and so forth. So the flywheel starts spinning faster and faster. Now, going through the entire strategy in depth takes, of course, a little bit more time. So I made a separate 2-hour massive free video that you can watch on this channel. I'm gonna link it right here because I want to do you justice and I want to give you all the content, all the knowledge that you need to know entirely for free. So go check that out now and I'll see you over there.